When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders us to do something, it's because that thing will be good for us, even if we don't see it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rewards for our obedience are just gifts on top of the benefit that we've already received intrinsically by performing what He commanded. Simply put, the benefit of the commandment is not just a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the benefit of the commandment is within the act itself. Scholars have long described the purpose of Islamic law to be precisely this. Izz ibn Abd al-Salām described the essence of every ruling being to bring forth good and to avert harm. For many, this statement might not feel so self-evident. How can I benefit from something that I disagree with or even feel harmed by? What's interesting is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala implicitly addresses this within the Qur'an. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Establish prayer and pay the zakah. وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ تَجِدُوهُ عِندَ اللَّهِ. And whatever good that you send forth for yourselves, you will certainly find its reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna Allah bima ta'maluna basir. Surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all seeing of what you do. Notice the two examples that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose: prayer and charity. Prayer can seem like an act whose benefit is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone and no obvious return for us. Whilst zakah has no benefit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yet it feels like it harms us through the loss of our wealth. In these two deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlights the two contentions that people raise with any commandment. Number one, that the benefit is not for us, but for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And number two, that the commandment actually harms us. More interestingly, after citing these examples, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explicitly says, وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ. Whatever good that you send forth for yourselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala connects our actions to our benefit, not His. But what's even more striking is the sentence after, تَجِدُوهُ عِندَ اللَّهِ. You will find it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for the action that you did that benefited you to begin with. Not only do we benefit directly from His commands, He gifts us further for doing them. Now you may ask, how do these commandments benefit us? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't give a long explanation because the best answer is for you to experience it firsthand. Explaining honey will never be the same as tasting it. He's telling you act first and you'll realize later. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to do or to stop, read, do good for yourselves and still gain the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Establish God's command and see for yourself how your life benefited directly. Then return to this verse and perhaps you'll explain to me what obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefited you.